What a big swing. Major low pressure system getting down into the 970 millibar range, and that produced a huge topsy-turvy temperature pattern, a difference of 40 to 50 degrees within a 24-hour period from Sunday into Monday in spots there. And with that came plenty of wind, widespread gusts of 35 to 50 miles per hour, and yes, captured on Monday, 71 miles per hour in the Buffalo area. A lot of 60-something mile per hour gusts were measured at times. Hopefully everybody's doing well. Brian Ivy here for your Nordcast and Snowplow News video. Look at that circulation. That is a very robust low pressure system over Ontario, circulating some very strong winds across portions of the Great Lakes into the northeast. And then came the changes through the middle portion of the country as well. So sliding through your Tuesday morning, we're going to see more of those lake effect snow bands before a low pressure system Clipper merges through the Great Lakes. It's going to pick up more residual moisture. We're going to talk about multiple chances of snow. So this moves through, this produces more lake effect on the back half, and then as a cold front slides through, that'll trail along, another shortwave trough moves through for Wednesday, which means kind of another Clipper system developing with this trough, and then more rounds of lake effect behind it. So with all these chances between the lake enhancement, some of these snowbelt areas are going to get hit hard as we kick off the end of the year and the new year. And yeah, then there will be some activity across areas of the Intermountain West as well. Once we get in towards your Thursday time frame through Friday, we'll continue to see a little lake effect going into the end of the week. Otherwise, pretty quiet across the eastern portion of the country with high pressure and control. Piece of that wave of energy breaks off across the west, moves across the northern plains, upper Midwest into the Great Lakes, potentially as we go throughout portions of your early Sunday period. Shouldn't be a big deal winter storm though at that juncture. Lots of snow is going to add up. Look at these totals here. It's going to be a lot downwind in Ontario from Lake Huron. You're going to see a good widespread 4-6 inches or so off of Lake Michigan, but there will be those corridors into the northern area of Michigan, the UP of Michigan, that see a foot or two for sure. Areas of northeast Ohio should do pretty well, and then once we slide in towards areas of New York State, my goodness, you're definitely going to be adding on up. Look at some of these. 24 inches for Jamestown, New York. Not too much in Buffalo, though. How about a couple feet around Syracuse? How about 40 inches near SUNY Oswego? Whew. Yeah, big deal stuff. Saratoga Springs, a few inches. Albany, not too much, though, reaching into the Hudson Valley. And sliding out across areas of the west, except for high terrain areas of the Cascades and the Sierra Nevada, not seeing really a ton just because relatively warm air is going to increase those elevations where you're going to actually be seeing snow, because we keep getting this area of warmer air, this higher areas of heights across the west and into the central plains, but much more in the way of dominant troughing favored across much of the eastern areas of the country. And that's going to be the common theme over the next couple of weeks or so. There could be a January thaw mid-month, and there certainly will be some periods of near average air. But for the most part, northeast is going to be pretty chilly. Let's look at Hamilton, by the way. Wonderful play and musical. Let's look at a couple different signals here. Going back in the past, when we had some dips within the North Atlantic Oscillation, the Pacific North American Oscillation, the MJO, the EPO, the Arctic Oscillation, we've seen these storm signals that have happened, and we do project there to be a couple other signals as we go in towards January to probably also produce a few storms at that point. So things to watch out for sure. Gotta love it. I think it's going to get active again here and there. But in the meantime, I mean, there's not a lot of activity that's going to be happening here as we look at a lot of the west, still very moist, but it's drier air across the middle portion of the country outside of snowbelt areas in the next week to 10 days or so. Not a ton across the northeast. And temperature-wise, we are certainly looking at, I would honestly extend the cold air back Chicago, Minneapolis, into the Carolinas to be at least a little bit below average. I think it's a little underdone here on this map, but it's certainly going to be warm across the southern plains through the Intermountain West as we head throughout portions of the next week or two. So overall, the country going to be mild, but plenty of cold air chances further off towards the east. Have a safe and happy New Year's, everyone.